Invictus is a short Victorian poem by the English poet William Ernest Henley. It was written in 1875 and published in 1888 in his first volume of poems, Book of Verses, where it is the fourth poem in the section Life and Death. It originally had no title. Early printings contained only the dedication to a THBA, a reference to Robert Thomas Hamilton Bruce, a successful Scottish flour merchant and baker who was also a literary patron. The title Invictus was added by editor Arthur Quiller Couch when the poem was included in the Oxford Book of English Verse. Text. Importance. William Ernest Henley is best known by virtue of this single poem. One of Henley's legs was amputated due to complications arising from tuberculosis. Immediately after the amputation, he received news that another operation would have to be done on his other leg. However, he decided to enlist the help of a different doctor named Joseph Lister. Under Lister's care he was able to keep his other leg by undergoing intensive surgery on his remaining foot. While recovering from this surgery in the infirmary, he was moved to write the words of Invictus. This period of his life, coupled with the reality of an impoverished childhood, plays a major role in the meaning behind the poem. It is also the prime reason for this poem's existence. Influence. C.S. Lewis included a quotation from the last stanza in Book 5, Chapter 3 of his early autobiographical work The Pilgrim's Regress. In the 1942 film Casablanca, Captain Renault, an official played by Claude Rains, recites the last two lines of the poem when talking to Rick Blaine, played by Humphrey Bogart, referring to his power in Casablanca. In the 1945 film King's Row, Paris Mitchell, a psychiatrist played by Robert Cummings, recites the first two stanzas of Invictus to his friend Drake McHugh, played by Ronald Reagan, before revealing to Drake that his legs were unnecessarily amputated by a cruel doctor. Franklin D. Roosevelt mentions that this is one of his favorite poems. His friend and advisor, Cordell Hull, reads the entire poem aloud as a tribute to Roosevelt. The fourth stanza was quoted by Lachesis to Zane in Piers Anthony's novel On a Pale Horse, the first of his Incarnations of Immortality series. While incarcerated on Robben Island Prison, Nelson Mandela recited the poem to other prisoners and was empowered by its message of self-mastery. In the movie Invictus, Mandela gives the captain of the national South African rugby team the poem to inspire him to lead his team to a Rugby World Cup win, telling him how it inspired him in prison. In reality, as opposed to the movie, Mandela gave the captain, François Pienaar, a copy of the Man in the Arena passage from President of the United States Theodore Roosevelt's speech Citizenship in a Republic instead. The American heavy metal band Virgin Steel take influence from the poem for their 1998 release Invictus. In the song of the same name, many of the lyrics take influence from the poem. The last stanza of the poem was used by Jack Donaghy to inspire Liz Lemon in the 30 Rock episode Everything's Sunny All the Time Always. The line Bloody, but Unbowed was the Daily Mirror's headline the day after the 7th July 2005 London bombings. It was also quoted by Lord Peter Wimsey in the Dorothy Sayers novel Clouds of Witness, in reference to his failure to exonerate his brother of the charge of murder. The Burmese opposition leader and Nobel Peace Laureate Aung San Suu Kyi stated, "This poem had inspired my father, Aung San, and his contemporaries during the independence struggle, as it also seemed to have inspired freedom fighters in other places at other times." The Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh quoted the poem in its entirety as his final statement. The poem's last stanza was quoted by U.S. President Barack Obama at the end of Obama's speech at Nelson Mandela's memorial service in South Africa and published on the front cover of the December 14, 2013 issue of The Economist. See also, E for Euro, The Man in the Arena, references. External links, works related to Invictus at Wikisource. Quoted in full at start of 06 Bravo. A factual account of Special Forces action in Second Gulf War published by QCOS 2013.